universities have suspended its strike. In a statement jointly signed by both unions, the suspension is for 1 month and will take effect on Tuesday. The statement mentioned that the unions had several extensive deliberations with the federal government delegation, and a commitment was made to pay 2 months of the 4 months withheld salaries in staggered form. 1 month by the end of October and the second month to be paid by the end of November 2024. The unions also mentioned that discussions on the remaining 2 months, the 50 billion naira earned allowances, arrears of 35% and the wage award have been revisited and are undergoing deliberations. We move now to Plateau State, where the upgrading of government secondary school Mangun to the Federal Science Technical College by President Bola Tinubu has been welcomed and commended by locals in the community. The Plateau State government and stakeholders believe that the development will boost skills acquisition and learning opportunities for youth in the state. Senior reporter Funam Joshua has details.
Residents of Mangun district in the Mangun local government area of Plateau State are celebrating the official handing over of the upgraded government secondary school Mangun to now Federal Science Technical College. A delegation from the Plateau State government and the federal government are here to officially hand over and take over the institution for the next line of action. The upgrade is seen as another turning point in the present administration's commitment to revamping the education sector.
I want to commend and congratulate the federal government for acceding to the request of His Excellency Pastor Caleb Manasseh Musa by granting this school to become a federal establishment. We want to congratulate the state, the federal government led by our President Bola Tinubu Ahmed. This is how government is supposed to play. There is nothing like politics here, but to whom much is given is expected. Plateau deserve more, and we need more from Mr. President.
Education is very, very important. And for us, senior secondary is the bridge from the basic to the tertiary. So it's important that those skills and the learnings that our youth will go on with are very, very important.
And what has happened now, words cannot explain. I'm so full of joy, and all I will say is thank you.
And so this school is coming at a very good time. And so I want to urge the people of Mangun to take the advantage and make sure that our children and also the children among utilize this chance.
The upgrading of government secondary school Mangun to Federal Science and Technical College is expected to boost skills acquisition, career and lifelong learning opportunities for the teeming youths in the state. Funam Joshua, TVC News, Mangun.
Stakeholders in the Northeast are undergoing a 2-day training on flood preparedness and anticipatory action to strengthening resilience in flood-prone communities. The 2-day training is convened by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Senior reporter Olabi Adenusi filed in this report.
About 1.39 hectares of farmland have been affected by flooding, which has further worsened food insecurity in northeast Nigeria. Farmers in the region are now counting their losses due to this year's drought and flood that not only wreaked havoc, but also claimed lives and properties. Speaking at the workshop, representative of the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations says the national workshop aims to trigger framework development in collaboration with other stakeholders.
The aim of the workshop is to build capacity of stakeholders on flood damage assessment and also work with stakeholders to develop a common framework for flood preparedness and anticipatory action.
Other stakeholders had this to say.
The basic objective of this meeting is to come up and develop a common framework for triggers for floods to enhance anticipatory and early anticipatory actions and early warning.
We expect to see a renewed strength, a renewed synergy and a renewed collaboration between all the MDAs at the upstream of flood forecasting and predictions.
We've learned during this workshop that factors like mismanagement of resources, factors like lack of preparedness are all those things that trigger flood. So during this workshop, we were able to get more knowledge on what we should do, what kind of preparation we should do, the preparatory level, and early warning systems.
The key discussions at the workshop cover institutionalized food trigger frameworks, advanced flood monitoring system, and the role of early warning communication to reduce disaster risk. The participants include the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency, National Meteorological Agency, National Space Research and Development Agency, National Emergency Management Agency, and the State Emergency Development Agency of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states. It is believed that the resolutions reached will guide against yearly perennial flooding incidents.
All right, let's take you back to our first story where we told you that the president has sworn the 7 newly appointed ministers after the screening and confirmation at the Senate on Wednesday. They are Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, who is the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Nentawe Yilwatas as Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, and then we also have Jumoke Oduwole as Minister of Industry, Trade and Development, Idime as Minister of Livestock Development, Yusuf Fatah, who has been sworn in as Minister of State for Housing, Suwaiba Ahmed, Minister of State for Education, and Mohammed Dingyadi as Minister of Labour and Employment. And we have our correspondent Femi Akonding standing by to bring us up to speed with the swearing in that was performed by the president. Femi, quickly talk to us about this brief ceremony that happened earlier on at the State House.
Well, hi, that ceremony just ended where the 7 newly appointed ministers took the oath of office, and President Bola Tinubu charged them, to be committed to contributing to the country's economic growth and development. He says he's glad that they are coming on board at a very challenging time in the country's history. He talks about when his administration assumed office, when they had to service the budget, the revenue using revenue to service the country's debts. They used about 97% of the country's revenue to service debt, but his administration has been able to bring that down to about 67%. And he also gives strong assurances that will still be drastically reduced in the coming weeks and months, because of some of the outcomes of the necessary economic reforms his administration is implementing. He charged the newly sworn-in ministers to be committed and dedicated. He says, well, he as the leader of the team, as a captain of the ship, he's also ready to lead them through that path, lead them on the path of progress and prosperity, despite these current challenges, which he acknowledged and said that he also understands why some Nigerians are getting impatient and why even some people have become fierce with their criticism of the administration, but assured that indeed with this new team coming on board, working with those who are already on board, that he would lead the country to that desired destination of progress, economic growth and prosperity.
Interesting. One key word you kept repeating from your statement is commitment, commitment. And these are critical ministries, one must say, when you talk about livestock development, you talk about humanitarian affairs and poverty reduction, as well as that of foreign affairs. Nigerians are waiting with bated breath to see how these people will bring their commitment on board to addressing the various situations with regarding these ministries. I wonder if you were able to get from these persons what their commitments are, knowing how they came in and the fact that it's no longer business as usual.
Yes, indeed. We spoke with the newly sworn-in Minister of Livestock Development. That is a brand new ministry, novel to President Bola Tinubu's administration. And you know, a lot is expected of that ministry. It's expected that he will be able to ramp up or show up so much potentials from that particular ministry and ensure that, you know, livestock contributes significantly to the GDP of the country. And the minister, looking at his pedigree and somebody who is a key player in that livestock sector, seemed to appear to understand the task at hand. He talked about how, you know, all of these livestock development can be modernized, how ranching can be used to improve productivity instead of the nomadic practice that we have today. He also talked about, you know, improving the whole value chain in live production. And for the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, you know, that ministry has been without a minister for a while now, since the suspension of Betta Edu before her final discharge from the cabinet. And there's a lot of responsibility that rests on the table of that minister and needs a minister to drive through the process. So it is expected that all of the safety nets introduced by this administration, you know, to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal, like the direct cash transfer, the credit scheme, and a lot of other social intervention programs, will be driven by this ministry. And now that there is a minister, a substantive minister, everyone expects effectiveness and efficiency. We also spoke to the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. She has been in government for about 9 years now. She was a special advisor to President Muhammadu Buhari in the office of the Vice President, that's Jumoke Oduwole, on the ease of doing business. And of course, she was also retained in that position by President Bola Tinubu before her appointment now as Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment. Right. All she will be doing in that ministry, when we spoke to her, she said that, well, all that is expected of her is just to ensure that, you know, that climate for foreign direct investment to come into Nigeria, and of course make their profit, create jobs, and not just any kind of job, create good jobs, valuable jobs for Nigerians, and also add to the country's economic growth and improve the environment. She says that, well, that's the task that she and her team will be driving in the...
Right. I know there's so much you have